This is the glove box on our 2009 Toyota RAV4. Just open it up here. You notice how slowly it comes open, and that's because of a damper that's attached to the box on the right side here. We're going to disconnect that. Now you see how the difference, how quickly it drops open. Now there's a catch on each side. They call them claws. There's one on the right, there's one on the left, and we want to release those. So we'll push in on the side of the box to release this side, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side of the box, and then the glove box will drop completely down. Now if we look up in there, you see a white plastic cover for the covers the housing where the cabin air filter element can be found, which is right here. Now you'll notice this element has already been replaced. There's no dirt there. It's all pretty well. There's a little dirt catching in it already, but it's got less than maybe 500 miles on it. On one edge, you notice it says airflow, and it has an arrow pointing down. Now some people will tell you that arrow is supposed to point up instead of down. Well, is that true? Was it put in wrong? Let's look at the owner's manual for this vehicle. And here's where it shows you how to disconnect that damper, and then to release the two claws on either side, and then to remove the filter cover, which we did. Now the next page, which is page 382 of the owner's manual for the 2009 RAV4, it shows a air filter. They call that an air conditioning filter rather than a cabin filter. But it shows arrows pointing up on the filter. It says remove the air conditioning filter and replace it with a new one. The up marks shown on the filter should be pointing up. Now, were there any up marks on the filter that was in there? That's not an up mark. That says airflow. It doesn't say up. The word up on the Toyota parts, including the filter and the plastic cover we removed, which also says up on it, are just telling you how to put these parts back in. So it means this side up. It doesn't have anything to do with airflow. We know airflow direction is down, not up. Well, how do we know that? Well, this filter is not very old, but you can see little specks of dirt in there. And that dirt is on the top side of the filter, not the bottom. So the dirty air is coming in the top. The clean air comes out through the bottom of the filter and goes into the blower motor, which is right here, mounted below the filter. So whenever you have a horizontally mounted cabin air filter or air conditioning filter mounted horizontally with the blower fan below the filter, is always going to be downward airflow. So I'm going to put this back in there. Another thing too is these are rectangular, they're not square, so one side's a little longer than the other. The short side faces the front. Sometimes the markings for either up or airflow are on this side rather than on this side. Another way too to tell how it goes in is notice how soft it is on these two sides. how flexible it is. The other sides don't bend like that. They're rigid. So the two rigid sides, one of those rigid ends has to go towards the front. Now, the reason it doesn't look like it fits right in the front, and you have a space here, is because it's wider in the front than it is in the back, so that you can angle the filter to get it in. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to just put it straight in. It has to go in at an angle in order to get it in there, and then it goes to the left side. Now, the reason the rigid side has to go in the front is because look at the panel that goes over top of the filter and closes the housing. You see the two prongs in the back? Those two prongs go underneath here to hold the filter up against the top part of the housing. And that's the way it's supposed to be positioned. So that's why it's important that this goes back in with the up arrow on it facing up. I don't think it'll go in the other way anyhow. Because one end slides in and the other end has a clip on it. So it only goes back one way. Now, one other thing I'd like to point out is this little damper thing down here. It prevents the glove box from opening sharply. If that falls off while you're doing this, it's easy to put back on. Now, this is what it looks like. And to put it back on, I don't know what the upper hole is for, but the hole right here where my thumb is, that goes on a little knob that's located right there. So it just slips over that, like so. So to put it back, we got our door on. Just push the glove box up in place. Collect the damper back on. Like that. And you're all set to go. Now, some models and years of the Toyotas do have a screw that goes on this end to hold that on, rather than just pinching it and pulling it out. So that would be the only time you might need a screwdriver to do this job. Otherwise, that's it. And thanks for watching. Any questions, any feedback, please use the comment section below. Thank you.